So it's official. CAFE standards are a wrap. It is the first step. I just remember, what was it, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago? Like, what is your source? How do you know? What is happening? When interdepartment memos are posted and they're sending guidance to other agencies or other departments like NHTSA in plain English, that's about the most reliable source you can get. I didn't have to get it from an inside source. It's public information. Anyways, so we're in the building. He sent these out January 28th, 29th. They were going in and basically instructed NHTSA to roll back CAFE standards, make them non-existent. But that's not just it. There's going to be, now, I know this is pie in the sky stuff, but there could possibly, in the next 5 days, be no emission standards. And not just by executive branch, but by law.
For the longest time. Whoa. For the longest time.
Percocet, Miley Percocet, Miley Percocet, represent, got it represent.
What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. So I've been covering this in a couple other avenues and aspects. We've talked about what's been going on with California. California sees the writing on the wall. They already see what DOT's doing. They already see what EPA is doing. They know what's coming down the pipe from the Supreme Court, and Pam Bondi is not messing around at the Department of Justice. California knows the time of these constant smog checks and emission standards and state refs is over. But what I love about this is this. We're going to get into this article, and this comes from Washington, and you can see it here. I'll throw it up here on the screen for you too. This actually affects everybody, not just consumers, but commercial vehicles too. That's why this is huge, right? The CAFE standards being rolled back is huge. So Washington, after confirmation vote and the official swearing in, new Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy's first act in his new office was to sign a memorandum to rescind and or remove certain fuel standards implemented by the Biden administration. That was guidelines and stuff that would basically eventually make it impossible to build a gas car or just phase out gas cars by 2030 anyway, right? That's now gone. See ya. According to a release issued by DOT, Duffy's memo directs the start of a process of resetting the corporate average fuel economy, also known as CAFE, standards, which DOT says will ultimately lower the price of a car for American consumers and eliminate the electric vehicle mandate. Not only were they saying this, but this is the same thing that piggybacks on the EPA, where General Motors asked for guidance on could they remove active fuel management from engines. That is an official thing that General Motors asked for guidance on. There is an issue, and I know that it's not just lifters that are causing, the investigation into 877,000 engines for the 6.2 and the 5.3 at General Motors, those V8s. I know some of it has to do with, lower bearings or whatever, bad materials. I get it, but there's a big chunk of those engines that are failing or going to fail because of the lifter crap, because of the displacement on demand and active fuel management. So GM is just trying to save money. They're going to end up shelling out hundreds of millions, if not billions, to fix that issue, but I digress. I'm deeply honored. This is Sean Duffy. I'm deeply honored by the trust placed in me by President Trump to lead this important department and for the Senate to swiftly confirming my nomination. We are already hard at work at executing the president's vision to usher in a golden age of transportation by taking immediate action to remove government overreach, lower costs for hardworking Americans. The memorandum signed today specifically reduces the burdensome and overly restrictive fuel standards that have needlessly driven up the cost of a car in order to push a radical Green New Deal agenda. The American people should not be forced to sacrifice choice and affordability when purchasing a new car. The memorandum signed by the Secretary directs the Office of the General Counsel, the Office of the Undersecretary for Policy, and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to immediately initiate a rulemaking to rescind or replace all CAFE standards. Boom. Now I know you're going to say, what does that really mean? What does that really mean? It means, look, this is a multi-tiered process, okay? I said this multiple times by looking at the policy and what they said they were going to do. Let me cover the cheap part first, or the cost savings for Americans. If Ram comes back in 2026 with an Eagle Hemi V8, right? And no MDS, not only is that Hemi V8 already cheaper than the Hurricane engine to produce, but now you don't have to put MDS on it. It's even cheaper to produce, significantly so. It could literally by itself, by using that power plant with no MDS, get more power and cut another 15 to 20% off the cost of building that engine, which makes the truck cheaper. Damn. Same thing for General Motors. Not having to use active fuel management, not using displacement on demand, rolling back emission standards to common sense crap, late 80s, early 90s, win. Vehicles cheaper, customers can afford them, gas cheaper. Can you envision the economy doing this? So the goal here is a multi-tier attack on this BS, okay? First is what the DOT secretary has already done. Boom, CAFE standards, night, bye-bye. EPA administrator, what does he do? 1,000 enforcement agents, salute, thank you for your service, we'll see you later. Bye. Take the buyout or go somewhere else, get fired. No EPA coming to kick down anybody's door anytime soon. Third tier, California, you're not setting emission standards for the rest of the country. We're done with that crap. And in fact, you're all the way at the Supreme Court already. You're going to get a decision there. And the Department of Justice is already drafting lawsuits to sue your state and cost you so much money and heartache as a state that it's political suicide for your people there to fight against it. Boom. No more CARB. No more smog. No more having to waste your time to go get your vehicle smogged before you could just renew your tags on your computer at home and just get a sticker in the mail. No more having to deal with BS. Common sense regulations. Sounds like a win to me. Sounds like a massive win. Now, I already know it's going to be in the comments. You already know it's coming. You know it's coming, right? TK, there's going to be acid rain everywhere, TK. TK, the water's going to be dirty. The air's going to be nasty. Well, I don't know about you, but I already live in the desert. There's dust outside every friggin' day that I breathe the frig in. And newsflash, if they just stopped doing smog checks and they got rid of all the emissions off all of the cars in states like California or even here, in Nevada, there's not going to be a big cloud of smog hanging over the city anytime soon. Geniuses, the vehicles that they produce now and over the last 10 years are more efficient and put out less pollution with no emission standard, with no emissions equipment on them than the vehicles from the 70s and even the 80s. Okay? I don't know if you know this. This has already been tested, by the way. This is why, like with my M5 that had no emissions on it. Even the 540. You guys remember my 540, right? No emissions. Catless downpipes, loud as hell. I could stick that thing in the exhaust pipe, measure my emissions. Guess what? It still passed with no cats, no emissions on it. It still passed. Interesting. So, newer vehicles today don't put out as much crap as before. Now, I know people are going to be like, well, what does this mean for diesel? It's the same thing. It is the same thing. There's going to be no enforcement method for the EPA they've already said it multiple times. Like, I've published videos from the EPA administrator. I'm still getting emails every day from like people, TK, I got a shop in, New Mexico or whatever, and I don't want them coming in and kicking my door. Nobody's coming to kick your door in because you deleted an EGR valve on your truck for your farm, bro. Okay? It's not happening. There's nobody to enforce it right now. And it's not going to change. Remember I said multiple tier attack, right? So DOT, EPA, DOJ, smack all that shit from California. And the last tier is legislation from Congress. Because I already knew. You didn't think I was going to talk about that? I already know. There's already bills being proposed from the congressman in Missouri and the Senator Hawley. I believe from Missouri is on that as well when it gets to the Senate. And there's a Senator Moreno. I will create a list of like get this, let's amend this Clean Air Act crap and supercharge our economy. Because that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And any auto manufacturer that doesn't jump on board for this right now is a dumbass. I'm talking about you, Stellantis. I'm talking about you, Ram. Dumbass. Dumbass. If they don't jump all over this. Prime time to make billions of dollars selling equipment, vehicles, no emission standards, reliable trucks, reliable cars, lower costs, golden age of transportation right here. It's coming. And then you're going to say, well, what's the legislation do? The legislation that will be proposed will get rid of all of this extracurricular crap. There'll still be clean air. There'll still be clean water before you get, there could be any clean air and water, TK. Yes, there will. The DOJ will enforce it. And the biggest thing here that I like is because it will be codified in law, in legislation. Let's say 4 years from now, J.D. Vance doesn't win, or whoever it is that will take over for Trump at that point, right? The next Republican, right? And it's Gavin Newsom or somebody else running for president on the Democrat side. Let's say they win. We know that's not going to happen, but let's just say they do. The legislation that's going to be enacted now will make it so cost prohibitive for them to change it to where it back, it would be political suicide. Meaning, for them to change it, it would cost so much money for the government. It would make inflation, it would make the Biden era look like nothing. The inflation would go so high for them to be able to change it. That, yeah, say Newsom wins and they have their little house and Senate, But come the midterms, they could lose 80% of the House, 80% of the Senate. Done. One-term president. See ya. Have a nice day. They're not going to mess with it. So you already have DOT, EPA, DOJ, California, bye-bye. Boom. Legislation. And the nightmare of emissions and all this crazy psycho BS is over. One step left. It's the legislation part. Everything else is done. Told you that. The memos are already out. I told you that. I had so many diesel guys hitting me up. TK, this is like a okie doke. They're still going to come kick the door at my shop. I'm like, with who? Who? Are they going to borrow some of them IRS agents to come kick your door in? There's no enforcement agents to kick your door. The EPA's not doing it. They've already said. He said it in the interview I posted the other day. They're not honoring. They're not moving forward with these unconstitutional, arbitrary BS crap that they were doing previously. It's over. So for all of you tree hugging, the environment's going to be gone. Newsflash. In like 30 or 40 years, you're going to be gone. Nobody cares. All right? When you're laying in your casket or you got cremated and like bugs and fish and eating you or whatever the hell it is that you decide to do when you pass on, nobody's going to care. All right? All of your political beliefs, all of the stuff that you care about with the environment is not going to matter. You're not here anymore. Okay? What about your grandkids, TK? Your great-grandkids? Okay. That's their problem. Sorry. I ain't going to be here. And the way that we are, and I'm not going to get into like a weapons discussion, but if we're here and we're not in a nuclear winter in the next 100 years, I'll be surprised. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. All of these aspects have now come down the line. There's one left, and it's legislation. And once that happens, it's over. And we got 2 years to get that done, till the midterms. So, like I said, it is over. It is 100% over. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I know this video is a little longer than I usually make, but I wanted to go step by step because I still see the comments every day. Like, oh, what about this? Oh, what about this? We broke it down. All the different parts. It's over. It's over. Done. Till next time, thank you very much for watching. And as always, stay petty, my friends.